Hello, Drew. So we've got the sanding complete, and they've been in some areas, of course we sanded through the stain, so they've been adding color back, and so you can see those spots. In the process of doing that, we found that, and looking back at pictures, we found that there was a piece of aluminum back here on this top transom plank. That aluminum was not original, nor was there any stainless. There was nothing original. There was nothing on this back here originally. So where the screw holes were that held the aluminum, we bunged those with new bungs. We got over here and we found rot. And the aluminum might have been hiding the rot, which I guess if it was hiding the rot and that's what you wanted to do, we could put the aluminum back on. But what's going to happen is if we don't address this, then there's a structural member back here called the transom post, and that transom post will eventually have rot in it. I don't think it does right now. When we push a screwdriver through here, it seems to stop where the transom post is, and I can probably show you the transom post. It's your structural member right back here. Let me get a flashlight going here, and so yeah, come on now. Yeah, okay. So yeah, there's you can see the back side of you can see a little space between the transom post and the tank, and you see a horizontal line. That is the plank seam on your back plank, and this is a post. There's a post in the transom right here, and so it doesn't seem to be rotted at this point, but there's plenty of rot, as you can tell right here. So we can do what's called a Dutchman, and because apparently the name came from the fact that apparently the Dutch people are cheap. I don't know. But anyway, I had a Dutch uncle, and I had someone talk to me like a Dutch uncle, and it was about thrift. But anyhow, so we can do a Dutchman, and that would be cutting down through here and putting in a new piece of Philippine mahogany that with a match wood. We would match the grain just as closely as we possibly can. And the fact is that will show to some degree. I mean, you're gonna have an extra seam here. We're gonna try to match up the grain, but this is a different, this piece of wood and the piece of wood we put in here gonna be from a different tree nearly a century apart. So, so while we'll attempt to make the grain match, it probably won't. The rot continues on down in the next plank. This is a plank seam right here, and the rot continues on down the next plank to this point. So we could do yet another Dutchman down here to take out this rot. And this one, if we didn't do anything up here, we'd get all done with our varnish, and it would immediately start peeling varnish up here in the corner. This might last. If we didn't do anything down here, this might last a year before it starts peeling up varnish in the corner. But you're going to have a very expensive varnish job on the transom, as part of this work, and then this little area would ruin it right away. So we really don't want to. I don't think you even want to consider that. The other fix would be to remove this plank and remove this plank and replace these two planks. And that runs, that'll run about $1,000 a plank. And that would be, probably include the varnish work back here. We would go ahead and strip the finish off of this one, and we stain them and varnish them all together. Your transom is what is probably the most noticeable part of your boat. So like at a boat show, that's what people are going to look at. That's what pops. And So it's where your name goes. Yeah. Anyway, you're probably going to want, well, those are your options. Do nothing, which is just not a good option at all. Do Dutchman, which is a good option. And then replace the planks, which would be the best option. And while I got the camera back here, I'll show you what Taylor's doing. There was a big ridge back here where people had sanded around this ring for your lifting ring, and so he sanded that all down, which that hadn't been colored at all. So he's colored these areas with stain, and then he locks it in with a spray stain, or spray varnish, I mean, because if we were to rub this with any kind of a varnish, it would actually, the solvents in the varnish would actually, what we call, lift the stain. So he's in the process here of staining out these areas where when sanding we got into,
which is pretty rough. If you wanted a halfway flat finish, this was kind of like,
yeah. we sanded and sanded and sanded. You had a very orange peely finish. I hope I'm not insulting you, but it had a lot of orange peel in it, and so to get it down, and then there was at least one coat, looked like two coats that had been applied without sanding, and so you didn't have a mechanical tooth, and because probably wasn't applied soon enough behind the coats in front of it, we didn't have a chemical tooth either, a chemical bond either. So anyway, so this is short of a strip and refinish. This is really the best that can be done. So anyhow, we're getting her all colored in, getting ready to put some varnish on. We can, huh?
Show them what it's gonna look like.
Oh yeah. So can we wipe off some of this? Because we colored in on the side of nickels here, so if we can wipe off some of that. But anyway, here's the decks. So your decks are going to approach this. This one, we completely stripped the finish off the decks of this boat. On the sides, we had the same sort of a scenario going on, not with the orange peel, but with some areas of the boat that the varnish had actually peeled off, and because it was in the sun. Here at the back of the boat, here at the back of the boat, it was sticking out of the boathouse. So right here on the sides here. So we had to do the same thing over here and color that stuff in. So and as you can see, it's not perfect, but it's way better than it was when it came in here. So, and we're just getting the sanding residue off. We'll buff that out the rest of the way a little bit to get all the residue off. Thank you. And so anyway, that's where we're headed with yours. Should be some varnish on it tonight. We will just whatever we do to the transom, we'll do it separately from the rest of the boat, so that we can continue on the rest of the boat. All right, sir. That's all I got for you tonight. Thanks. Wait a minute. No, it's not all I have for you tonight. I think I've got. Hopefully, they've already shown you the flooring, but just in case they haven't shown you the flooring today, we've put the marmoleum down on the floors yesterday, and I believe we've got them stacked up over here today. Yep. Got new plywood floors. Euro plywood floors were very weak. They were 3/8 of an inch, and here's your new stuff. It's 1/2 inch plywood, and this is your new marmoleum, and to replace your old marmoleum. That's the original color and texture and white accent.